Welcome back to the Four Rings Inn for another episode of City of Shadows in our homebrew world of Ethereum. We return to the dark city of Thalia as last session our highborns talked to the Viscount Larissa Lockward in her enchanted tailory, unbeknownst to the law of the city, and learned of a incredibly skilled tailor, but also a denizen of the forgotten catacombs beneath the heart of the city. And we're given the instructions on how to get there at the behest of a favor to deliver a small red vial to the woman known only as the Spindle Maiden. After leaving the tailory, we returned to the Tyrvald Manor, where there was some tensions between Renshaw and his father, Arthas. And in the wake of their argument, Renshaw tapped into the power of the sphere that he found in the attic and cast his first level spell of the campaign. We then moved across the city, over the walls of the civilization, towards
I just wanted to check it out, okay?
Grimwatch.
I'm too powerful and pretty to die. Like, I wasn't gonna get hurt. I'm a count.
I'm a count. It can't hurt me. And Eleonore had a lovely conversation with the lead ranger, Yanis Gore, and offered her a place amongst their future expedition deep into the Vermore Woods. And as you were leaving the Grimwatch, you encountered some of the horrors that live within. So, are you ready for a scary story?
John, don't kill me. You don't need to kill me.
Oh, please don't kill
me. No reason to kill me.
As the scene becomes set, the last rays of sunlight peeking over the horizon, long shadows stretching over the entrance to the Vermore Forest. Eleanor, can you give me a perception check as time begins to slow, as the border of the forest, the tree line, bursts forward with both life and death? What'd you get?
26.
A 26. Wow. Okay. So Eleanor's head claws.
I rolled a 19.
Eleanor sees everything around her. She sees two human hunters come barreling out of the woods, scratched and scraped from the running through the brush. One male, one female, as they come flying out of the forest. Behind them, pushing through the brush, are two Cavum. They look like completely naked, completely hairless humanoid beings. Their bodies absolutely emaciated, but from sprinting through the forest, crave with blood, their muscles are so incredibly tensed and their skin so incredibly rubbery. You can see every muscle and every sinew and every bone in their thin, lanky bodies. These creatures are so blood-crazed that their jaw almost seems to unhinge, drool pouring through their razor-sharp teeth. And they have been sprinting for what you can only imagine has been miles upon miles, on hands and feet, knees and elbows. You can see their extremities have broken under their body weight, and they do not care. as long as they reach their prey. In the woods, you see the eyes of more of these nocturnal beasts. At least 10 more sets of these eyes, all peering out and all rushing towards where you and the ranger that escorted you out are currently standing. On a 26 perception, you kind of wheel around and take in a little bit more of your position. You have the Rangers Guild Grimwatch immediately beside you. You do notice on your 26 that the pen of goats that you originally had noticed were getting antsy when you walked in is currently completely empty. There are no animals in the pen anymore. You continue to turn and you see about 100 yards away from the forest towards the city is your carriage still waiting, and 300 feet closer to the city is the Wolf's Lodge, where you see 2 hunters are out back smoking pipes. The Atwood Gate, the closest bit of sanctuary within the city, is a quarter mile from where you stand. As all of this happens and these 3 Cavum push through the edge of the forest and begin to thunder across the cobblestone road towards these hunters, I need you to roll initiative.
Oh, yay.
Anyone else, or just Aubrey?
Just her.
Lovely.
Lovely.
It's a good thing we're not there to help.
The only 2 with actual weapons.
I have my dagger that I stole off a dead body.
Yeah.
I'm so prepared.
You are so very prepared.
Okay.
What did you get for your
I got an 18.
18? Excellent. That puts you here. Perfect. The first to act are the Cavum, as they come flying out of the forest. These 3 creatures are going to leap and throw their entire bodies towards the hunter in the rear. And they are going to make their leap. You see they oh no.
Don't say that.
Oh no. You see these 3 Cavum dive towards the hunter in the back. The first one slams into the man, knocking him to the ground for 13 points of damage. The second one comes and with a single broken hand smashes his head for another 14 points of damage. And the last one takes its teeth and sinks it into the base of his spine for 9 points of damage.
They can one-hit me.
You see you hear his body begin to tear as all 3 of them, their pupils completely dilate as blood spews out of his back. And The hunter in the front turns around and shouts, "Darian!" and like reaches out for her companion. But it is not her turn. And Eleanor, you are up.
Cool. Okay, so you said my carriage was how far away?
Your carriage is 100 feet away.
100 feet away.
Yeah.
Right.
60. So it'd take me 2 rounds to get there. And how far away are the baddies?
The baddies are currently 20 feet ahead of you.
Oh,
Wait, what? They're
they got
20
close
feet away?
quick.
Yeah, the Grimwatch is right on the edge of Veremore Forest.
Okay,
Oh, you're fucked.
that's so fun. I'm going to
That's so fun.
run inside,
Yeah, absolutely.
screaming,
Sure.
and let everyone know there's monsters attacking. There's the Depraved. They're outside. I just watched them brutally murder someone.
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, that's it. Well, I mean, I have more, but I'm gonna use my movement to get inside.
Cool. You get to the door, and as you move, like to open it, it is locked. And as you shout, you can hear, with your passive perception, you can hear people on the other side trying to open this door also from the other side. Unfortunately for me, your passive perception is so ridiculously high that without a roll, you do notice on the top left corner of the door, wedged in the door frame, is a small bone charm. It looks like the skull of a squirrel, maybe other bones tied up with it, and something inside that is like quietly rattling in the wind. That was definitely not there when
I went in.
when you went in.
Someone planted shit.
But you see this jammed up in the door, and actually with your perception, you can see there's a faint glow of magic coming from within the eyes of this small skull.
Touch the obviously cursed object.
She's too short.
Oh, right.
But you used about 10 feet of movement to get here, so you have more movement if you want it, and you still have action, bonus action, all that jazz.
Does it look like... I see it's glowing. Does it look like it's like wedged in something? Like wedged in the door frame?
It looks like it was like jammed up there just enough to like keep it up there, but not really. Like you would expect that if like it started to storm, like a thunderstorm, it could not get off. Like there's nothing securing it in there. It's just kind of like hastily stuck up.
But I definitely can't reach.
If you make a dexterity check, you could hop up and try to get to it.
Okay, I will do that.
Cool. Give me a dex check.
Just straight dex or
Yeah.
athletics?
Athletics. Give me athletics.
Okay, because that's higher. That's a 16.
You are able to reach up and snatch it off of the door, and as you come down with it, you can feel it has like energy pulsing with it. It's faint. It's not like this is incredible. But you can feel that there's like this is a magical item, and you can still hear the people on the other side of the door banging
Still
to
can't
get it.
open. Damn. Okay. I am going to, if I can, and it does, like, I don't know how much my action gets me, but I would like to pitch this magical item away from me because magical items draw in the Depraved.
Absolutely. Yeah. Give me
Yeah.
give me like a ranged attack. Just the hit. A pitch.
See, it's a nat 1.
Oh. You
Bad.
take it and you huck it away, and you're like, it distracts the Depraved, so I want to get it to the Depraved, like get it like closer to them. So you throw it towards the body that is on the ground, and on a nat 1, as it hits the ground and tumbles, the skull does not break, and it just bounces on the ground in the grass and sits about 10 feet from where the Depraved are currently tearing limbs off of the body of Darien.
I'll shout to that ranger, "Hey, there was a strange thing I just threw." Now I would like to use the rest of my movement to try to get like somewhere around the building.
Yeah.
Wherever I can see things, and I'm going to try to take the hide action. Because I can do that as my bonus action.
Oh, perfect.
I would make sure that I'm not going towards wherever those goats disappeared. I don't want to be near that pen.
Deal.
If I can just hide somewhere.
Absolutely. Give me a stealth check. As you're going to wrap around the side of the building. So you're going to put the building between you and these cavum, and to your back is your carriage. So you're in a really good spot where you have the building between you.
Like if I could move closer to where the Wolf's Guild and other people are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is intense.
That's amazing. That's so sucks. Okay, that's a 12.
A 12? Okay. Deal. And so you wrap around. These Eleonore dice are killing you.
I didn't need that high of a perception. I did not need a 19 on that. I could have used a 19 on my hide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna hide.
Yeah, you watch the ranger run towards the door. He begins shouting for help with inside. Doesn't know why people aren't coming out to assist him. And you see he pulls a torch off the wall, off the entrance to the Grimwatch Keep, and then starts to run back towards these group of cavum, and he begins to shout and wave this torch, as again now the sun has sunk below the horizon and night is setting. He begins waving this torch through the air. The hunter, she is going to take one step back towards her fallen comrade before the ranger is going to grab her by the shoulder and just push her back and then move a step closer. And again, with your excellent perception, Eleonore, you can hear far behind you the hunters that are smoking behind the Wolf Lodge have taken up arms and have began running towards where you are. Granted, they're going to take the dash action. Mm-hmm. They are still 240 feet away. Like they still have a lot of distance to make, but you can see them running towards you.
Mm-hmm.
As you do that, you watch as the cavum take the torso and still attached right arm of this hunter and begin to drag him into the forest. All three of them actually are going to sink their teeth into his body and drag the body with the three of them together. They get him into the tree line, and you watch his hand disappear into the brush as two more cavum come skidding out of the forest. into your vicinity. Both of them come up to the edge of the ranger's the torchlight, and then skid to a stop. You can see the drool coming down through their fangs, their eyes reflecting every flash of the torch that he swings. But they skid to a stop at the edge of his light, and like, they do not growl, but they let out like a groan from within their stomach, just as they see this light sweeping through the air. That's all those two are going to do. It's your turn.
Did my carriage move at all?
Your carriage did not move, but your carriage driver is like keeping the horses tame. And he doesn't want to just leave because you're here, but also he does not want to be here either.
Yeah, okay. Did you say it's my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Okay, I would like to see if I would like to run. I don't know, how close are all of the buildings? If I tried to, like, take my action to, like, dash as well, would I, like, I do have 35 speed movement, so within 70 feet, would I be able to get towards another, like, something to hide, or would I just be open field between, like, the Rangers Guild and the Wolves Guild?
Yeah, I think you can go 25 feet and then still have, like, components of the Grimwatch Keep, like some sort of, like, their training equipment, their, like, sheds, their other ancillary buildings. 25 feet. Anything beyond 25 feet, you're going to be in the open.
And am I running, if I did that, would I be running towards where the empty goat pen is?
No, the goat pen is closer to the forest, so you're away from the goat pen.
I'm sorry, I know I'm asking a lot
No,
of questions.
No, ask your questions.
Eleanore has a really high perception, so she's checking this all out.
Ask your questions.
Around me, is there another torch somewhere that I could grab?
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
watching this ranger.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna...
I will say the torch will give you disadvantage on stealth checks if you're holding it, because it's a big bright light.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get... I don't know where all the torches would be placed, but try to get closer to the Wolf's Guild, but still have somewhere to hide. And if I could hide, like, within 35 feet of a torch.
A torch? I think that's very doable. I think that the Rangers Guild keeps their place well lit. They know torches prevent monsters from spawning in dark places. They know what's up, and so they've torched it well.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So you
just try to sneak to get somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you give me one other stealth check, and then you're gonna get 25 feet closer to your carriage. So currently you are 70 feet from the carriage.
Okay. That's a 25 on my stealth.
Wow. Okay, you
that
are
was so much better.
You're completely hidden.
And I'm super small.
Yeah.
Like, I have the small features. So I'm just gonna try to, like, cram she wouldn't know what prone is, so even if it makes me prone, try to cram myself somewhere where if they are looking for bodies to kill, they are looking at other people.
Perfect. Excellent. Yep, you are super duper hidden. As you hide behind one of these, like, their archery sheds where they keep their extra bowstrings and their arrowheads, you get down low, and underneath it you can see the ranger begin to sweep his torch again, as the cavum creep slowly away and progressively back towards the forest. One of the windows of Grimwatch Keep open up, and a ranger leans out the window and has a like a sling that they've made, and they take some object that was in the keep and just whip it out at one of the cavum. It should go for it. Oh yeah. It strikes the cavum like clean in the head. Its skull caves in completely and drops back to the ground. And then the other hunter, you can see shaking as in terror and grief. Puts one knee on the ground, and she pulls out her crossbow, loads it, and fires it at the second cavern. And she unfortunately misses, but she as soon as she misses, she begins to reload a second bolt as she takes up another shooting position. The hunters get another 60 feet closer from behind you, and you watch as two more cavum come out of the forest, and they see the one that is dead on the ground. No blood comes out of its head, and their eyes immediately turn to the ranger. One of them hesitantly puts a bloody claw in the torchlight on the ground, and then all three of them slink slowly into the light and begin to close in on this ranger. It is your turn.
Everybody. I would like, you said that I'm in like a shed with extra supplies.
Yeah.
I would like to try and get like a crossbow or short bow if I can, without like fully disrupting my hide. I don't want to shoot it. I just want to like be armed and like ready in action.
Absolutely. I'll say with your 25 stealth, you're able to go through and you get a short bow and a handful of arrows. It's not a ton, but you have a short bow and you have a couple of shots on you.
Okay, and then I just want to ready like an attack if if it gets past people and it seems like it's found me.
Sure, absolutely. For sure. Cool.
You know what's fun, guys? If I die here, I have that vial on me.
Oh no! You took the vial to the forest.
Didn't you put it in the bag of holding?
She didn't go home yet.
I didn't go home. I'm going to when I go home.
You see the ranger is going to leap forward and start shouting and waving his hands.
Yeah.
The cavum are going to hiss at him and creep back a little bit out of the light before attempting to encircle him more. The two on the flanks begin to move more to his sides before the ranger from the window pulls back another sling, fires another shot. This one hits the cavum in the jaw, shatters all of its teeth, and it slumps to the ground dead. At the same time, you see the door to Grimwatch Keep bust open, or Grimwatch Hall, and 4 or 5 rangers immediately rush out, daggers, swords, bows, and begin to flood out into this courtyard of Grimwatch. The hunters get another 60 feet. They're 120 feet away. And, the hunter from the forest loads another crossbow bolt, fires it, and this one sticks right into the chest of one of the 3 cavum before it falls dead on the ground. Excellent. You see 2 more cavum come out of the forest and skid to a halt. Actually, that's a lie. 4 cavum come out of the forest and skid to a halt as they are met with this significantly larger group of people. And it is Eleanor's turn.
Okay. I would like to look around to see if, besides where I can see a lot of the eyes in the cavern, like clearly coming out and in the woods, if there looks like there's anything else around in the area. Like if I tried to make a break for it, is something gonna come in through the side and get me?
You take a look. Give me one more perception check.
That is quick math, 25.
25. You scan this area. It is getting dark, but you look over and you see nothing over here. All the action is happening in front of Grimwatch, and you have a clear shot to the carriage.
Okay, yeah. Now that the hunters are a little closer and a bunch more bodies are out, kind of take the heat, I'm going to, with the crossbow and stuff, just in case, just dash.
Yeah, absolutely. You have 35 feet of movement, right?
Yes, and then so 70.
70. You make it to your carriage. As soon as you get there, your carriage driver whips the horses into action. You make it in the carriage. As it begins to turn and wheel around back towards the city, on your 25 perception, you see at the edge of the forest, about 200 feet to the east of where all this encounter is happening, you just notice one of the goats standing at the edge of the forest, looking vaguely in your direction. Their eyes kind of go in other spots, but it's kind of looking towards you before it turns around and wanders into the woods. And as your carriage begins to move back towards the city, you see the rangers stabbing and cutting through the remaining cavern. More torches come up, and you can see the eyes of more cavern skid to a halt much deeper into the forest before turning around and wandering back. And your carriage driver does not wait and waste any time and books it back towards Quillen Keep. You are out of initiative. You have survived the cavern attack. Is there anything Eleanor would like to do or say as she is alone in her carriage, thundering through Thornley back towards Nightingale Avenue?
Yeah. I think being alone in the carriage and kind of not having to put on a face for anyone around her, she's just like bawling her eyes out, terrified. But as the carriage gets close to Nightingale Avenue, like the second we hit Darlington kind of thing, the district, she's like very quickly like wiping anything away, like dabbing so there's no like smears in her makeup, like swishing her like eyes and trying to like put on a very presentable face.
Yeah, absolutely. Your carriage driver is going to turn to you and just go, Count Quillen, I would like to request or ask, would you like me to say anything about this to anyone, or would you like this to stay between us?
You can do whatever you need. I mean, that was a terrifying sight. There's no reason to keep this a secret, so if you would like to speak to your family or whatever makes you feel comfortable and safe. I mean, that was
something else.
That was something.
going to be...
For sure. I didn't quite realize what... Yeah. I don't...
It will be a long time before I fall asleep tonight.
Of course, why don't you, take a guard with you, just so you feel safe with you and your family tonight.
Oh, thank you, Count Eleanor. That is most kind.
I'm so sorry that I brought you into such danger. I didn't...
Oh, no.
You're 300 feet from the wall.
It's all part of the fun of being a carriage driver, I guess. Get to see the world and everything outside of the walls. Wow. Did you see their eyes?
Thank you.
Count?
Yeah, I saw everything. Thank you for such a speedy exit.
I was not going to stay a moment later than we had to. Excellent. Whew. Your carriage moves down Nightingale Avenue, safe and sound, back within Darlington and back to Quillen Keep. However, as you move down Nightingale Avenue, we're going to shift away from Eleanor as the danger has passed. And as the night ticks on and gets later and later, one light still stays on in the Tyrval Keep, as in Renshore's bedroom, work is being done, and study has commenced, and puzzles have been solved. And when puzzles are solved, puzzles are rewarded. So, Rensure, as you flip through your book, your grandsire's journal, and you study the runic arts and begin to transcribe runes to understand how the magic of runic casting operates, you learn two things. First, you learn a spell that it is hard to tell if your grandsire developed this spell or if he learned it from ulterior locations. But it's not a spell that's like printed within the book. It's something that he had taken notes on and like personally walked through how to conduct it. I will send that to you now. The spell is called... actually, I will allow you... Would you like me to share the details of the spell? Or would you like to keep it a secret for a special time?
I'll hold on to this one.
Perfect. You have the details of a new second level spell. And as you... Actually, I'll give him a second to go through that. Yes, Rensure deciphers these runes and discovers a spell, again, either constructed by his grandsire or specifically tailored by him for a task at hand. Speaking of which, you also find notes in the margins of techniques that he used. Reasons why you are not quite sure, especially based on the dates of when things are written. Keeping in mind that the time that he was learning runic magic, it was still legal in House Blacksbane. Although not nearly as common as divine magic was. In the house, the runic magic at the time of his learning was not outlawed. But you learn a technique that he called undetectable runes. And what it allows you to do is when you cast a spell, you may spend a hit dice, which is dice that you use to heal during short rests. You may expend a hit dice, and when you do so, that spell no longer requires somatic or verbal components. And your grandsire, let me see, the words along with it, and I'll send this to you as well, but the words along with it say, "Eyes watch from high places. The walls are always listening. I must work amongst the people, but the people must not know." And then he lists how to cast the spell at the cost of some stress and mechanically healing. But you can cast spells more covertly. And I will send undetectable runes to you.
That's helpful. I'm glad he did that when it was legal, so now that it's illegal, it's a lot easier to do.
That way you don't have to, like, Doctor Strange on a street.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange on the street is not very covert.
No.
It's a spectacle.
Don't worry, guys. It's not magic. I just am doing air math.
Air math. I'm just doing
Carry
air
the
math. And
wine.
things happen when I do that.
So strange.
Yeah, and that is due to all that discovery is due to both your incredible puzzle solving skills in real life and also your excellent Arcana check last session. As Renshaw flips through his book up in the late hours, is there anything else in particular Renshaw would focus on before heading to bed? It's okay if he's exhausted from a long day, but I didn't want to gyp you of something if you wanted it.
The past couple days have been kind of a turning point for Renshaw emotionally. And so kind of to de-stress, he's going to try and continue to write the letter he started a couple days ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not going to get very far on it before he goes to bed, but he does continue it.
Excellent. A few more lines written, and progress is always progress. And so, especially coming from working on the journal, you know that every little bit is a step towards the end. So, a couple more lines on your letter, and Renshaw retires for the night, as well as the other two ladies, I imagine. Does anyone want to not retire for the night? Perfect. Night settles, and the sun rises on the 25th day of Maiar.
God. It's getting so close to the 1st of Asha.
Only 5 more
We're gonna
days.
do Nothing. Cinderfall's gonna happen. The apocalypse occurs. And we just...
It's all good. And the sun rises on the 25th of Asha. Does anybody have anything pressing first thing in the morning? Or not necessarily first thing in the morning, but as the sun rises and people begin to awake.
Well, Oriana is going to wake up well before the sun begins to warm Ethereum, and she will go outside to her gardens and do her Vinyasa practice, expelling all of her rages for the day, and
Good.
do her worship in private outside in the gardens.
Deal.
Yep. And then I will go back inside, officially put on my Ashen Order uniform for the day, putting on the blue tabard with the golden sigil on it, equipping her sword, and then I would like to draft up a letter, reading, "To whom it may concern, Enforcer Dayborn or other, Have you received any information regarding interrogation on Max Splotchins, the culprit from the Temple of Ryan attack on the 23rd of Myar? Any information will greatly help with our investigation. Signed, Cloak Lunaris, and return addressed to the Tierval Manor. And then I would like to hand that letter off to a pigeon post servant somewhere within the manor.
Perfect. Excellent. That letter makes its way out, and it will, hopefully soon you'll get a response from Maxwell Splotch.
And then at some point in the morning, not too early, like after the sun has fully risen, breakfast is probably going to be served soon, I would like to go upstairs and knock on Renshore's door.
Renshaw was still asleep. He will quickly
I will only
dress.
knock once. I won't press knocking. I'll wait just a moment.
He will quickly dress and go answer the door. Oh, hi.
Good morning. As your guard, just checking in to make sure you're still alive.
Right. Yep, I'm here.
Good. And how are you? How was your night?
I'm alive. How was your morning?
It was just fine. Did I wake you? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's time to get up.
Yeah, I thought you would have been up by now. And then, can I see anything in his room? Like, past him?
Yeah, give me a perception check, and I'll say, Renshaw, what do you think you would put away before heading to bed? And
I rolled a nat 20.
Okay,
Ooh.
so what does... Renshaw, I will allow you to say, what do you think Oriana sees peeking in the room?
So Oriana
I think that's my first
sees-
nat 20.
You rolled it against Renshaw.
It was to spy on my ex. What can I see in his bedroom?
I just peeking over his shoulder. I'm not
you're
like the door
snooping.
could still be half closed. I'm just my gaze just lingers over his shoulder.
You
It
see
could just be an undone bed.
a half, there's a letter, like it's clearly letter formatted. Like you can see, there's a there's a body paragraph. Like there is obviously a letter on the desk that has not been finished. There's an inkwell that was left open, a nib and a pen that just now have dried ink on them. All of that's scattered on the desk, along with some crumpled pieces of paper from previous drafts of what you presume to be the same letter. There are a small pile of books at the bottom of the bed, all like very old. There is like a weird pouch next to these books. Clearly like something that could be fastened to a belt. And the bed is very obviously unmade. Sheets half sideways from a fitful sleep. Clothes on the floor. Very much so not a tidy room.
Well, it looks like you've been busy up late last night.
Yeah,
A lot on your mind.
I couldn't sleep. But I'm feeling better now.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, I think breakfast is going to be just about served downstairs pretty soon. If you want to start getting ready for the day, I hope don't want to be late for your father.
Right. Yeah, I'll be sure to get ready.
And then I will back away from the door and make my way back downstairs.
And I'll just turn around, close the door. Actually get dressed now.
Wonderful. as the morning continues on, we are going to take a quick break for the episode, and then we will shortly be back for more City of Shadows.
My favorite TTRPG is our homebrewed version that we use in Ethereum.
Gotta plug that in.
Because I came up with a lot of the rules that we use, and I like them because I suggested them, because I like them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I played some Call of Cthulhu before, and that one's I enjoyed it. It's very different from like Dungeons and Dragons and like 5e. It's all D100 based, and that is really cool.
My pool of TTRPGs is very small. Really just exists of our homebrewed 1 and 5e.
But if you had to try one,
I would be really interested to try Pathfinder for its character creation. Vampire Masquerade looked really cool. Their character sheets are really unique. There's a new Brandon Sanderson
Shut up.
TTRPG.
That was mine.
Honestly, I'm just open to try anything.
There you go.
I want to try the Stormlight Archive RPG that is set in Brandon Sanderson's world, and it has a cool thing that I bet Jacob doesn't even know about, which is why it had to be my answer. That it's called the plot die, and you roll it to add like additional thingies.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Advantage?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I want to try it. I haven't played it.
I know Brett and Lee Mulligan on Dimension 20. They technically just use 5e,
Mm-hmm.
but I know in their newest season that they have going on right now, and even in some of the past ones, they play with this system where if you fail a roll, you get like tokens, and you get to spend those
Yeah.
tokens to help you pass later, which is different than 5e. And so I don't think it has like a special name, but I do really enjoy that mechanic, and I'd like to play a game with the made-up mechanics that Brennan uses. But if I had to pick like an actual system that I want to try, it's probably Daggerheart. Because
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
new,
yeah.
and I don't really know that much about it, but I mean, I'm willing to learn, and I want to try it out.
Wait, what's the one that uses D12s?
That's Daggerheart.
Yeah, that one. I love a good D12.
Yeah, and you roll 2 d12s, and one's a fail and one's a success, and whichever one's bigger is what you get. So you could get like a 7 fail, so a bad thing happens because you rolled like a 7 on the bad dice and like a 5 on the good dice.
Oh, that's interesting.
What if you like roll doubles?
You die instantly. Let us know in the comments what your favorite TTRPG system is, or system you've been dying to try. The bells toll throughout Thalia, and you should toll that subscribe bell down below. Not only does it help Four Rings in so much, but it will also keep you up to date with the terrifying tales of City of Shadows. If you think this campaign is cool, make sure that you check out Insight, the show where we get the inside scoop on our characters and the world of our campaign, as well as the exciting and hilarious one-shots we have run by our very own Aubrey. It has been such an honor to share with you our homebrew world of Ethereum and tell stories of adventure, mystery, and horror together. Now, without further ado, back to City of Shadows. We return to City of Shadows as we move into the later morning of the 25th of Maiar. Only 5 more days until the 1st of Asha.
Which might not be that bad.
No.
Just another day.
Just, it's a full work week before the 1st of Asha. We are back at Nightingale Avenue, and we'll see where our counts want to go for today. Or our highborns, rather, want to go for the day.
You guys can all have my honorary titles.
Like,
Like, I'm the only one
counts.
with it. But you can
Whoa.
have honorary count
Oh, wow.
titles.
Wow, that's huge.
That's a
for
big
some
win.
of us who are.
Yeah, Tori's untitled.
Yeah. Well, she's got a title. It's just not a very good title.
In the royal sense.
Yeah.
After doing my general daily routine, checking in, working on the clock a bit,
Yep, of course. Busy lady.
would like I would like to head over to the Tyrval Keep
Yes.
to check in with my buddies. And before I go, I'm going to take the vial that we were given by the tailor
Yep.
and put it in my bag of holding.
Perfect. Excellent. That is secure in the bag of holding, no longer on your person. Excellent. Sweet. And then you make your way just down the street to Tyrval Manor.
I still take a carriage.
Of course. Of course.
And I'll just like go knock on the door.
Absolutely. You are greeted by the Tyrval servants. They open the door for you, invite you right in, and they call for Renshaw that you have a visitor, Count Heir Eleonore Quillen.
I think I'm probably like pacing somewhere nearby the foyer, so I hear probably when she arrives, just because I am avoiding the dining room and avoiding any of the major rooms that Arthas may be in. And so
Can't imagine
I
why.
will come out to greet Eleanor as soon as I hear that she has arrived in the manor.
Perfect.
Eleanor, it is so great to see you today.
Oriana, hey! Good morning.
Good morning. How was your night?
Eventful.
Eventful.
I visited the Ranger Guild. Remember I told you about my papa setting up a meeting with
Yeah.
Yanis Gore?
Yeah, that's so soon. I didn't
Yeah, it happened
realize it
really
was last
quickly.
night.
Yeah, I got a missive. That's what my missive was from yesterday.
Bless you.
Oh. I apologize. I would have attended with you had I known that you were
Oh
going.
no, you and Renshaw made your positions quite clear, which, frankly, to be honest, was the right decision in the end. It was a tad dangerous, but I'm well.
Okay. Dangerous as in the same danger we've been encountering these last few days?
Well, first, I had the most delightful talk with Yanis Gore. He is such a kind man, and he really knew my grandmother so well. And then he made an offer to me to go on a little trip with him in 2 months' time, and then...
Oh,
as
it wasn't
I was
last night, the
leaving-
trip.
No, I was just simply at the Rangers Guild. And then as I was leaving, creatures began coming out of the woods and attacking, and I watched a ranger get brutally murdered and had to run and hide and then hop in the carriage and make it home. But then I made it home and I was safe, and I sent a guard home with my carriage driver so that way he would feel protected and be able to sleep well, and he seems to be doing better this morning, so that's good.
That's a lot to take in. I'm glad you're well. Now I feel even worse about not attending with you. I'm so
It's all right.
sorry you had to do that
you
alone.
wouldn't have fit underneath the shed. It was a really small, tight.
Eleanor.
There wouldn't have been space.
You're making this worse than it... I am picturing the worst things happening right now.
Well, then you're getting probably an accurate picture.
You're getting probably pretty fucking close.
Oh, and there was more, but I shall explain later.
Okay. Okay.
How was your evening?
It was not nearly. I thought it was bad, but I cannot complain anymore.
No, it's not a comparison game. Everyone can feel what they feel.
Yeah, no.
Honestly, I had half of my evening was quite well. I really enjoyed speaking to Yennefer.
I'm glad parts of your night were well then, and I am glad that you are safe. But last night I sat with dinner with Renshaw and his father, and oh my goodness, like I haven't seen Arthas that upset in a long time. He's just furious, and it was not a good environment last night. Clearly not as bad as your night, but it was just not
Why was
pleasant to be
Arthas so
around.
upset?
Honestly, he sat down at the table in the wrong mood, and I think one of us just said the wrong thing to just set him off, and then I was dismissed for the table before I heard too much more of the arguing that transpired last night. But yeah, so if Renshaw is not in the best of moods today, that might be why.
Of course.
So,
I know.
If you have any reason to get out of the manor today, I think leaving Tyrval Manor would be nice. Get out of the house a little bit.
I think that we can continue our little adventure from yesterday. And there's places we can go. And then I'm gonna like lean in closer and be like, I heard from my mama, and I'm not sure how this news will sit with you, but Arthas seems quite keen on finding Renshaw a new suitor to secure his position upon court. I don't think that is what Renshaw wishes, but
it makes sense. I mean, we've been apart for quite some time now, and I know that he needs a suitor, and it's something his father wants. It makes sense for that conversation to happen.
I feel like I told my mama, at least let the season pass. I mean, Calorian tradition, my ball has passed, the fall equinox has passed. Courting season is over. Let him rest until spring.
Eleanor! Hi, how you doing?
Renshaw, good morning. How was your evening?
It was just swell. And yours?
Eventful.
That sounds fantastic.
I was just coming to see if you and your guard would like to have a short outing.
Like, do you want me to bring a guard, or are we talking about Oriana?
No, Oriana.
Oh, okay. Well, it just felt weird. I feel like
that is my station here. I'm
feel like
sorry
there's
if
a
it
lot
makes you
more-
uncomfortable, Renshaw, but
a lot more titles we could go through before we hit guard.
It was merely a jest.
I see. Yes! Where might we go today?
Oh, I don't know. There's a new shop in town, and I'm like gonna be trying to like leading them out.
A new shop? It's not another game store, is it?
Oh no, that was quite dreadful yesterday.
Yes, sorry about that.
Oh no.
yeah,
that was
Renshaw, I don't
quite
think we're
dreadful.
going to be attending that game shop again.
I felt a social obligation.
I
I understand.
entirely understand.
We don't need to return.
That
Not
net
for a
was
while.
dripping wet.
It was bright as hell. Maybe the rain was coming, but
I think that it was quite unsavory where that man perhaps been coming from.
the river?
So when we get into the carriage, I'm going to then say to Renshaw, you do understand what was happening at your friend's game shop, didn't you? Did you pick up
No.
on that?
I was so lost. I didn't understand hardly anything.
Gotcha. Well, for one, he is making forged gaming cards
What?
And there's some forgery that is happening there. Off the cards that are supposed to be made down in Valdor.
How did you pick up on that? We were hardly there.
They were out on his desk. And the man that was dripping wet carried in more cards that were very obviously and poorly printed.
And it clearly had not rained.
Yeah.
So where's the only place in town to get covered in water like that?
I don't know. The river? The waterfall?
The falls?
Yeah.
And what is behind
Yeah.
the waterfall?
Yeah.
Seems he
Okay.
had quite a visit to a market that we...
Yeah, Rensher, your friend is in some very unsavory business. I
Well,
mean,
I don't think
I
you
mean-
should visit him again.
Friend is a loose term, but I can agree on that. So if we're not going there today,
I believe... so a quick recap of my events. I went to the Rangers Guild last night to speak to Yanis Gore. He was such a lovely gentleman, super kind. He had the
And without
nicest words to
us.
say about my grandmother.
well, yeah, we said we didn't want to go.
And yeah, I mean,
said I
I
didn't
didn't want
wanna-
to force you guys to go.
I wasn't gonna go into the woods, but I didn't. If you were just stopping by at the guild, I would have joined you, Eleanor.
Well, I didn't know where and what was going to occur, and especially after yesterday when they brought up the Spindle Maiden, and I said maybe we shouldn't go into the crypts, the catacombs, and you guys were like, no, we should, but like, don't you want to go into the woods? It seemed like you guys were really against the Rangers Guild, so I didn't want to burden you with it. But it's all right, because
I was
went...
against you going into danger, Eleanor, but I certainly didn't want you going into danger alone had you made that choice.
I was surrounded by guards the whole time. In
I
fact,
know.
I watched a guard get brutally murdered.
Oh.
I say to Red, sure.
It doesn't sound any better the second time.
So it was the nicest time. There were such kind people there. And then unfortunately, as I was leaving, a bunch of Depraved came out from the woods and started attacking. And it was quite a gory sight. And then I like fumble through my bag and I pull out like a accurate as hell draw.
It's horrifying.
And it's like the Depraved over the dead body, and like you can see the blood splatter like that's the pointy, and you can see the eyes in the distance. It looked kind of like this.
Yeah, it's like it's a photorealistic picture of exactly what that is.
Wow, Eleanor. I mean, looks like we were both in a fight last night.
Oh, what happened to you?
Oh, just standard Arthas.
Oh, I am so sorry.
I mean, you were in mortal danger. I'm just in emotional danger.
But I am well.
That's good.
So anyways, all I had to do then was run and hide a little bit. Oh, I got this, and then I pull out the short bow. I stole this from the shed. I thought I might have needed it to defend myself, but then I got away and I was fine, and I didn't really use it, but it's similar to what we used to train with in school, so I don't know if perhaps I should return today to return this.
Do you have arrows? Or just the bow?
Just 5.
5
And then
arrows.
I think it's the short bow I just left in the carriage.
That makes
Like,
sense.
that definitely
sure.
wouldn't have fit, like, in my bag, but, like, under the seat. I'm like, look, and then I had this. So, anyways, that was insane. And then, also, when I arrived, there was a bunch of goats. And then when I was leaving and
Hold
the
on.
Craven were out, just
Is-
like goats in a pen.
Oh, that.
But
Okay.
when I was leaving, all of the goats were gone, and I know this sounds quite queer, but I swear I saw one in the woods, like standing up, looking at me.
Like standing up on like back legs.
Yeah, like a very non-goat like attitude.
You're right, that does sound rather preposterous. However, there's two ways around it. Either we believe you, or the traumas therein were a bit much.
I will say, I mean, if the witches can control these horrific creatures,
The goats?
could they not control? No,
The goats.
the depraved.
Oh!
Could they not then? It seems like a logical step in logic. I don't know much of magic, but a goat doesn't seem.
You're saying
Also, when they attacked, I tried to run inside the Rangers Guild to hide there, but the door was locked, like super stuck. People on both sides couldn't get out, and there was this weird skull thing that was glowing, and I took it out from the door, and I just kind of like yeeted it, tossed it.
Yeeted it!
That's not slang. That's Caledonian proper English. That's the formal word for to throw. To chuck would be the slang, but to yeet is as formal as it gets.
And I just yeeted it. And nothing occurred after that, but I told a ranger about it and he didn't seem too bothered. But it was definitely magical and perhaps what caused the depraved to come out from the woods, or the hunters that they were chasing. Either one seems like a fair.
This sounds like a I don't know, like quite a story. It's terrifying, and I am worried for you.
I'm fine. I made it straight to the carriage. Then I came home. I had a nice chat with the carriage driver. I sent a guard with him home so that way he would feel safe with his at night. And he's doing quite well today.
What's his name?
His name
Julian.
is Julian.
Yeah.
Julian.
Cool.
So just about every day for the last 4 days, we have been attacked.
Well, I think some of it's been, circumstantial.
It is still odd that we have never been attacked before, and now suddenly in the last 4 days, something has happened, which does not make me feel at ease for the rest of today.
No.
Well then, let's be on guard. Let's keep this bow handy. Do arrows work against the depraved?
It seemed to last night.
Fantastic.
Oh, and they did not like fire.
Like being on fire, or just like being near fire?
No, the one ranger just kind of.
Okay. Swish.
They
That makes
didn't
sense.
love
Most
it.
animals don't like fire.
It's hot. It hurts.
So.
That means they have self-preservation. That's terrifying. That implies a sentience.
So I was thinking today, perhaps instead of chasing the lead that the tailor gave us, what if the Viscount? What if instead we don't go to the catacombs because
But
we
yeah,
have
which you've
been
mentioned.
in quite danger, and we could though check in on the mage, well the enemy from the Temple of Ryan, and see if we can chase a lead there. But I must ask, either way, what is our goal here? I know, Oriana, you're on the case for this.
Yeah, I suppose it's just to acquire more information and figure out what's happening, if there's going to be another attack, maybe just try to predict it, to figure out what's going to happen on the 1st of Asha, because that's quickly approaching. And
Yeah, I'm quite anxious about this Cinderfall.
Oh. Didn't we see something? That Nox, right? The Nox?
Yes, I gave you both a transcription of the legend.
Yeah. He said he would bring Cinderfall, right? I think that's part of the
Well-
legend.
That words was in it, so to this day, the Moors refuse to speak aloud its proclamation. I am the knell that calls the beast. I am of blood. I am released. The omen of rot is here. With me, I bring Cinderfall. The sun will fade and the earth will wither, for I am Nox.
I mean, that doesn't sound good.
yeah.
No.
But the note
And
that
remember
was
how he's
on-
gotten much bigger.
Oh, yes.
I don't have any other point. I just wanted to
Just to bring that
remind
up.
us.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
lovely
wanted to think
reminder.
about it.
Yeah,
I-
but also the note
Interestingly-
that was on the lady in the study also said that she is to bring about Cinderfall.
Well, maybe she brought him.
So I've been looking back at the scene from the study, and I pull out
Yeah.
the drawing of that just so we can all see it.
Wow, your drawing is crazy. You're so good at this.
Thank you. I've worked really hard on it with my papa. Anyways, so the elements around Lucille's body look quite ritualistic, Moorish. I assumed that night, and I still do, that something occurred there with a witch. However, Lucille was wearing one of these cloaks that we have since seen a mage wear. And reminder from the GM, where was the banner?
It was like at her feet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
so
think
it looked like the banner was laid on the floor. All the bones and vines were laid around it. She would have kneeled in front of this banner, conducted a ritual, and then something ripped out of her face. And then she fell back and died.
And it seems like these mages are invested in the Tirvals, which I'm not quite sure why a mage would have any relation with your family, but a mage came to my study, found a secret vault that my family had no knowledge of, but was marked by a painting done by your grandsire, Ranshore. And then a ritual occurred that looked archaic and not runic,
Yeah.
and she died. So I'm assuming she came with the Tirval banner, and in the midst of whatever was going on, it seems like something else intervened. I wonder what our mage that we do have, if Lucille's brother was working with this mage, then it seems like Lucille was part of this cult of mages.
Yeah. I would agree that it seemed like she was part of this cult of mages, but Lucille's brother kept implying that you killed her. Like as if his own
Yeah.
cult didn't. Or he had no idea. And so maybe Chorister knows more. Maybe she was keeping things from her own compatriots, but
Or
it didn't even
Lucille
seem
showed
like
up
they were. Yeah.
to the study to take something, and then she died at the study at the hands of a witch. And
You're saying 2 people broke into the same room on the same night at the same time?
or followed her. But I mean, if Max thinks that we killed her, that means he knew that she died in my keep,
Which was not public knowledge.
which was not public knowledge, which means that he knew that she was going to be in the study. So I don't know what the mages... I want to know if the mages know about Cinderfall. If Cinderfall is a legend from the witches, a Moorish legend, in regards to the Nox, which then Renshaw you saw later that night.
Right.
Perhaps the mages have nothing to do with Cinderfall. Perhaps there are two things going on at once, or the witches have elected the mages to work under their cause, because we know the mages' power also attracts the depraved.
I would like to kind of circle back to the growing part. So when I saw him the first time, he was like about the size of like a chest, just your standard storage chest. Then 2 days later, he was big enough you could see him across the city? I mean,
I believe immediately the next day.
Was it the next day?
Yes.
No, the ceremony happened
On the 23rd.
Yeah, and it was the 21st that he got attacked.
Okay.
Yeah,
If it's continued at that rate, I mean, it's the size of the city at this point.
Or it got fully grown.
Oh, you're plateaued. Yeah. I mean, even still, at that size, where would you hide it?
Perhaps it's underground.
In the catacombs. Oh, I saw a passage. So I was reading books, because I was up late last night, and I saw a little poem just kind of scribbled into one of these books. And I think it's about the Spindle Maiden, but I'm not sure. There's one particular line that I don't quite follow, but I noted it. It goes, she lives far below, which she does, it's below, steeped in the dead, which is the catacombs. Her puppet is vile. That's the part I don't get. The Viscount didn't mention anything about a puppet or anything.
No.
Then it basically goes on. Her work is exquisite, which it is. And her prices, however, are the most perturbing. Obviously, I paraphrased a little bit. It rhymes more when you read the whole thing. But I'm betting that there is whatever's in that vial is something perturbing, and that the Spindle Maiden has some kind of puppet, which, if it is hiding in the catacombs, the Nox could be the puppet.
I wonder... I shall check my Moorish Legends book tonight to see if the Spindle Maiden is mentioned.
That's a good thought. Yeah, I just saw this.
Richard, what were you reading that talked about the Spindle Maiden? That
Yeah, where did you
seems
see that?
Talking about prices. It seems more than a childhood myth.
I think it was really just a poem. I mean, I don't even know if it's about the Spindle Maiden. I'm
What
just
book
kind
is
of.
It
that?
seems pretty clear.
Because I had to get my Moorish legends out of the restricted section. I only got that because I'm a count.
Well,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I guess I was
printed-
assuming it was from the same book, but that's Eleanor had the book the whole time.
It wasn't like printed in the book. It was just like scribbled in the margin. Someone
What
might have
book?
been like just practicing their poetry.
Well, if it was scribbled in the margin, then maybe it was recent.
I don't think so. It looked like.
Is
an
it a
old
book from a library?
No. Actually, yes, it is. But my grandfather bought it from the library a long time ago.
So it's an old book that was once your grandsire's who painted the painting.
Yes.
Okay.
So
What all do you know about your grandsire, Renshore?
not much. I didn't know he painted. I didn't know he did poetry. Guy was full of art.
And apparently visited the Spindle Maiden.
Or he just knew about her. Or
I would-
not related at all, and he bought the book and that was already in there.
I mean, your grandsire, he passed before coming to the city, correct?
Yeah, he refused to leave Ethris's Grove.
So, I mean, if he did any work with the mages, runic magic wasn't illegal at that time.
No.
Does your family have any history?
Of runic magic?
I mean, why would
Also,
they
real
have...
quick, we're headed to talk to Horister from the attack, correct? Are we telling the carriage to go?
Yeah,
No,
probably.
they've been going.
I know. I'm just
We're
we never
sitting
told the
in
carriage
the-
that
in-
We're just sitting in the driveway chatting.
we
Julian is just
haven't
sitting there.
told the carriage driver that we would like to go to
Yeah.
Blacktomb.
For sure.
That is quite an ask. Just making sure that we told him that is our
Well, I'm just gonna
destination.
tell him that we want to go to the castle.
Perfect. Yep.
okay. Just to be clear here,
you are totally
we are
fine.
headed that way.
Is Julian okay with that drive?
Yeah, Julian's fine with that. The castle's the safest place in the city.
Or the most targeted?
Maybe.
It will be after we show up.
Is there any connection, Renshore?
Not that I know of. But like I said, I'm reading these books, seeing what he was into.
Well, that could be of use.
There was only one chest of belongings brought back from the house in Ethris's Grove, so there's not a whole lot to go on, and it's all really old. I mean,
And all you found... Nothing...
yeah.
Not any more paintings?
No. And that's why I went to the chest originally. I wanted to see if he had like paint stuff, you know? Or paintings or anything like that. And it was just a bunch of old books.
Well, let us know if you find any more useful information, I guess, on
Yeah,
Spindle Maiden.
absolutely.
If there's something, there's bound to be, I would hope there's bound to be more. If he knew about her.
And that's called something. I don't know. But like there's the whole idea like when you have a riddle and you think you know the answer, you kind of bend both to fit perfectly. While it might not even be the answer. So it's totally possible that it's not the Spindle Maiden. I mean, I originally thought it was some kind of Lady of Death. But that doesn't fit as well anymore. But there could be a third option that shows up, you know, today, tomorrow, that fits even better. You know, there's definitely a lot of question marks within that poem, so. But I will let you know.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you would have been a worse liar so I could have insight checked you.
I had the same thought. I'm like, is it worth rolling the insight? And I was like, no.
'Cause my
What he's
insight
saying sounds
dropped.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sound.
Your carriage arrives at the footsteps or the huge staircase that leads to Greywall Castle. The towering Gothic spires, the flying buttresses, all atop Avondale Hill. As you step out, you can still hear the roar of the Iron Falls behind you as the water careens off the top of the Gallatin Mountains and plummets down into Old Water Basin. The castle stands majestic, beautiful, and commanding in front of you as the noon bells dong dong ring across the city. You climb the stairs to Greywall Castle at the with the escort of a count of the Quillen House, the guards, the personal guards of House Blacksbane allow you into the castle grounds. As you approach, you see in the center of the main courtyard is the towering statue of Aidan Blacksbane, the elven ruler of the house before his untimely death over 200 years ago. You know this statue was built in honor of him, who is the father of the current High Lord of House Blacksbane. You know Caspian Blacksbane still resides within the halls of this castle, and the memoriam to his father is out front here, and the memoriam to his sister, who also fell during the betrayal of the witches, stands in New Elsport, which you had visited not too many days ago at Maeve's Beacon.
Who commissioned the statue of Aidan Blacksbane?
His son did, Caspian. While his son was serving as High Lord, one of his first actions were to commission a statue of his father, which the plaque on the front tells the tale of how the final thing that Aidan did in life was to go out and seek peace and cooperation with the witches, and returned sickly and cursed, and died in the castle due to the hexes that the witches cursed on him. You move past his statue and enter the halls of Castle Greywall. Eleanor, you have been here before a few times. Renshaw, I believe you have also been into the castle. And actually, I take it back. All three of you have been in for the annual balls that the castle will host. But the Count and Viscount are here a little more often, particularly in the Chambers of the Pristine, the wing of the castle that hosts the legislative branch, the lawmaking of Thalia and House Blacksbane. You also see wings that lead to the courts and the Lords of Coin and the administrative processes that make Blacksbane a strong and powerful house. But unfortunately today, your destination is not the Pristine and not the Grand Ballroom. Instead, you venture, I imagine for the first time, unless any of you have been to the bowels of the castle before, down the dimly lit halls towards the dungeon that rests beneath the castle. Blacktomb. As you come down here, Eleonore, without much persuasion, you're able to get the guards to admit you in. They're not one to deny account access.
I'm kind of rich and
I'm kind of important. As you move down, the demeanor certainly shifts from this beautiful castle of wealth and power to a tomb, nonetheless. The Blacktomb was built to keep dangerous people who could cast powerful magic and could not be kept in regular prisons. As you move down here, you see there are still runic enchantments on some of the walls and the prisons that dampen magical abilities. You hear throughout the halls there are chanters, priests, and holy servants of House Blacksbane hired specifically to come down into this dungeon 24 hours of every day and sing chants that restrict magic from being cast. Unlike runes, which do it from runic circles and from embedding the magic, the sounds and the chants of divine magic echo through these halls. But no matter where you go, you cannot escape the faint and ever-present chanting that goes on down here. You move down through these halls, these echoey chanting halls, to where you're eventually led to the cell of Hera Harvester. You find her sitting on the ground, chained both hands and feet to the center of her cell. 2 guards in full plate armor present down here. And there is a runic circle in her cell, which you are informed is a circle of truth. She does not have to answer your questions, but while chained in the cell, she cannot lie. And while listening to the music, the chants of the Novem, nobody in Blacktomb can cast any spells.
I think just as we're walking, I want to grab Oriana's arm and kind of pull in and just whisper as low as I can. I know you are familiar with the holy people, but these chants are really creepy.
Yeah, they're a little spooky, huh?
Is this something you would have learned about in your training? Does the Guiding Flame teach this?
Not to everyone. I think it's more of like a special track you'd have to take, something you'd need to request or be requested to do. So no, it's not taught to everybody, but can be.
I'm glad you didn't specialize in creepy dungeons singing.
Oriana, can you make a history check for me?
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't specialize in creepy dungeon singing.
History.
13. Not the
13.
best major.
13. You remember that one of the Templars of the Ashen Order came from this group of like highly specialized priests. On a 13, you do not remember her real name, only that as a Templar, she is called the Chantress.
Oh. The Chantress. It's kind of a cool
It's a
name.
good name. I mean,
Well, the other guy's called the Bloodhound.
The Bloodhound.
So I'd rather be called the Enchantress.
Yeah.
it's not Enchantress, it's just Chantress,
Yes,
right?
Chantress.
The Chantress?
The Chantress. Yep.
Freaky.
But as far as you know, like she's not currently down here. She's doing Templar stuff in the city. But she used to be one of these.
Probably
people.
extremely busy.
Yes, she's very busy. But she used to be one of these chanters before.
She doesn't have to do creepy dungeons.
She promoted from creepy dungeon. Yep, exactly. But yeah, you are led to the prison of the cell of Hera Harvester. You see that she looks like she's been in prison for 2 days. And she is a dwarven woman. And again, chained to the floor of this cell.
Hello.
She looks up from her cell, sees you, and with your insight, you can see a smile like creep across her face, but she doesn't respond to you.
I am Eleanor Quillen. I'm sure you remember us.
John, can I just do like a constant insight, like beyond passive, like I am actively focused on it?
Yeah,
Constantly.
absolutely. Give me an insight check. You want more than a 9.
Nat 20.
Whoa!
Out of here. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna say, so you know that she can't lie. So what are you looking for with your insight check? With a nat 20, like, yeah, what's your read? And you'll pretty much get it.
Obviously, she can't lie verbally, but she can give facial clues that'll give us a deeper truth.
Perfect.
Is more along what I'm looking for here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, anytime you get information out of her, Renshaw, you will know her true emotions on how she feels about that piece of information. No, nothing hidden. Amazing. Wow. 2 nat 20s this episode.
Yeah. This one's way more important, though.
I don't know. The last one could have been important.
You see Eleanor, she looks up at you and just says, I remember who you are. And Renshaw, you pick up that there is an immense amount of hate for either Eleanor or all three of you. Actually, you know it's an immense amount of hate for Eleanor, but it doesn't necessarily seem to be targeted at her as a person and more at the title.
I'm assuming that you knew Lucille.
Give me a persuasion or intimidation check.
As her entourage, can I help her?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, Yeah, at this point, if the three of you want to like help each other, one person gets to ask the question, but you can always roll with advantage because I assume somebody is always helping. Actually, we'll do it this way. If two people speak on anything, whoever rolls gets advantage. You know what I mean?
So for this, because he's not speaking, I'll just keep my first roll.
Well, Rentra, if you want to say anything, and it doesn't necessarily have to be to her. If you tell me how you help her, every roll will be advantage, as long as you guys can explain how the help happens.
I wish I had a book. No, I wasn't planning on saying anything. I was just gonna have like my arms crossed, like just kind of looking at her,
Yeah,
disdainfully.
absolutely.
Disdainfully? Well, I did roll persuasion and not intimidation.
He's the bad cop, though. That makes you the good cop.
He's the bad cop. Okay. Well, either way, it was going to be high, but with advantage,
Yes.
it is 23.
Oh, good. I helped.
She nods and says, I knew Lucille. She was a good woman.
I'm deeply saddened by her death. I know that the man you were with, Max, he seemed to blame me and my family.
She goes, well, I can't blame him. Neither should you. So many deaths in the city are to blame for the counts, and the viscounts, and the nobles that drive the rest of us into the mud.
And
We
where
did
were you
nothing.
on the 21st of my year then?
Give me a persuasion or intimidation check.
$11.
She remains quiet.
Fuck.
Do I get anything from her quietness?
You see her stubbornness, but she's not. You don't see her body language shift to like, oh no, they caught me, or like, she's not worried about what she was doing on the 21st.
My family did nothing. What?
Dude, your family runs the Pristine. They all run the Pristine.
If you have an issue with the laws,
Then
take that up.
with who?
Come to an open council meeting. I don't.
Because they listen to the peasants. They listen to us.
I believe that it was you and your magic, illegal magic, that calls to the depraved, that killed Lucille. Not the law.
Lucille's death was a tragedy. But it was her own fault. She screwed up.
Why was she there?
Wow, she really believes it's her fault.
Give me another persuasion or Intimidation.
Nat 20.
Whoa.
27.
These
Jeez.
all three of these nat 20s honestly feel a little wasted.
Your Eleanor dice giving you a nat 20? Wow.
A nat 20? Wow, after they almost let me die earlier,
But
they were like, you don't run, you don't throw, you can't throw, but you know what you
But
can
bitch,
do?
you can talk.
But you can talk.
I'm just trying to think of what she knows.
Yeah. Well, like, I would just be like,
Yeah.
why my house?
Did she tell you she was going there?
You see Hera looks down at the floor when you ask about Lucille and your study. And she says, they went in there to get the Carnius Grim for mother and father. They said they could use it to summon Cinderfall, but apparently Lucille didn't want to wait, knowing that all you were there, the same place, the same time. She thought she could clean the city in one sweep. But whatever she did with that book, it didn't work. Not the way she wanted it to.
What is Cinderfall?
I don't know exactly. Mother and father don't say exactly what it is. But they say, the stories say, that Cinderfall will raise the city, nay, to discriminate between rich or poor, noble or peasant, innocent or guilty. We'll all be equals. They'll stop stomping us into the dirt, into the mud.
Is that who you work for? Mother and father?
Give me another persuasion or intimidation check. And while you're doing that, Renshaw, you pick up as she's saying this. From her body language, you can tell that she truly believes that this Cinderfall is like some kind of great equalizer and fully supports like bringing it into the city or having it occur. She desperately wishes Cinderfall to happen. But you can also tell that she genuinely doesn't know exactly what it is. Oriana, how'd you do?
14.
14. What did you ask her again? I'm sorry.
Is this who you work for?
Oh.
Mother and father?
She nods.
Oh. She didn't say that out loud.
She nods that she works for mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say yes to that question?
Yes, I work for mother and father.
Thank you.
That's sneaky.
Why are you after?
That's clever.
Why are you after the Deervalls? What have they done to you? If you blame those in power, surely there are more counts and viscounts in more favorable positions.
Hit me with another persuasion or intimidation.
That is a 19 persuasion.
Don't say anything that incriminates me.
You see, Rentor, you can see that she doesn't want to be just telling all this information, but she's been locked in this prison for 2 days with no contact, probably very little food or water, and a lot of emotions. And you can tell that Eleonore is just so good at eliciting those emotions that as she just pours her heart out a little bit, and with the zone of truth, the truth just comes out. And she says, Mother and Father, they wanted me to cut off the finger of one of the Tirvalds. They said it could be any of them, but their eldest son would be the easiest to get. Apparently he's sad all the time and mopes about places like the atrium and the pigeon's post all by himself. They said he would be an easy target.
Do you know why Lucille had brought a banner of the Tirvalds to the Quillen mansion?
A false banner?
I'm going to say this tags on to Eleanor's Nat 20. It's in the same vein. And she's going to say, that banner is our banner. The banner of our cult. To stand for everything that you do not. And she probably brought it because even going into that study, she knew that she wanted to use that tome right away, and she didn't want to wait.
You said our cult. Does your cult have a specific name? What do you call yourself?
The cult of Cinderfall?
And without saying anything, Renshaw, you pick up the immediate recognition, and just from her body language, you know it's a yes.
That was what we read on the banner.
Yep.
How many are you? How many of you are there? What will you do if the first of Asha comes and goes?
Renshaw, you pick up a wave of fear kind of washes over her as she did not know, like, the first of Asha was mentioned without her giving anything up, and that surprises her. But she kind of composes herself and says, there are maybe 10 of us right now, plus Mother and Father. But there will be more. We're growing. Mother says we're growing every day. And we will see our true numbers on the first of Asha.
I think I've been very near the bars.
Mm-hmm.
But at this moment, I'm gonna like kneel down and like really press up against them, like sit on the ground against them to just try to like level myself with her.
Yeah.
Who are Mother and Father? Why?
Give me another persuasion or intimidation.
that's good. That is a 13.
Can I put my hand on Eleanor's shoulder and kind of gaze down at Hera and try to give the help action with intimidation?
Yeah, Eleanor, you can roll again.
Much better. That is a 25.
Wow. The DC was 23 for that one.
Oh.
She goes, I have not seen their faces. They wear masks even when they meet with us. But they are reviving the original cult. The one that killed the high priest. The one that killed the counts. That struck fear into the nobles. Mother is the smart one. She knows how to bring about Cinderfall. Father is the powerful one. He wields magic nobody has the stomach to cast.
Is that who spoke to you? In the market? Mother?
No. No, they never show their face. They're never out during the day.
Where might we find them?
Give me a persuasion or intimidation.
I don't think mine's very good. Ooh, that's a dirty 20.
Wow. She says they meet us in different places every time. It's never the same place, always somewhere abandoned where no one will find us. Usually somewhere that is big enough to house meetings, but away from prying eyes. They'll tell us just days before. I don't even know. They never told me where we were meeting for Cinderfall, for the first of Asha. If I succeeded, they would have told me.
Succeeded in taking Renshor's finger.
Yes.
Your men did not attack for a finger. They attacked for a life.
They were new. I don't even think Maxwell knew of the cult, unless Lucille told him. Hamble just told him that his sister was dead. And he agreed without another question.
I'm sorry for her loss.
Hamble's not the only person who loses loved ones. We've all lost something to the Counts. But hopefully, on the first of Asha, the Counts will lose something too.
If there's anything I can...
Where did you get your sphere?
Give me another check.
16 intimidation.
She goes, we killed some mages down south of the city. We wanted their spheres and figured that if nobody else was protecting House Blackspade, then we might as well.
How did you learn how to use it so quickly? I mean, you've only killed the mages just a couple days prior, no?
Father taught us everything.
How do they tell you where to meet?
They always find us at night. I don't know how they find us, but word spreads from one of us to another until we all know where to be.
Is this about the war? I mean, I know that Lucille wasn't happy about the events surrounding the war, but the fight is noble to fight for our queen.
You see at this point, without even a check, you kind of see her just kind of start to break down and cry. And she goes, it's not about the war, but the war has made it worse. My sons have been slaving away in the mines all their lives, while the Hollands just reap in the riches. And they have to starve paycheck to paycheck, shade to shade, mark to mark. My husband was a courier for the Pigeon Post. He gets one job with the Red Force, and he never returns home. The Ashen Order didn't even look for him. I know the Red Force had something to do with it. I just know they did, but we're nobodies to everyone but Mother and Father. The rest of the city will just throw you away as soon as you're not useful. But not Mother and Father. They want everyone to be equal. And even if that means bringing Castle Greywall down a few pegs, then that's worth it for me.
Well, for a nobody, you took down quite a couple mages, if I recall, from Octavia Hill. And you said that's where you got the sphere. How many did you take? How many does your cult have? Did you steal any more for them?
Give me another check, and Renshaw, you can tell at this point she's getting tired of answering questions, and the DC is going to start going up.
Yeah, 21.
You see, she says, the newest recruits, we got 3 spheres for them.
So 4 total.
Well,
What?
the 10 of us originally already have spheres. Or the original 7 have spheres. Plus Father.
So everyone there is armed with a sphere.
The newest initiates don't have spheres until they prove themselves. And then we find them some. And at this point, she kind of chuckles and just says, "We've lived in fear of what the rich and the powerful could do to us all of our lives. I must admit, it does feel good to give you that look on your face."
I think it's time to go. Eleanor, Renshaw, do you have any more final questions? Alright, let's go.
When I get up, I'm gonna turn to the guards that are here.
Mm.
What will happen to her?
They say there will be a trial, some in the coming week or two, and if she's found guilty, she will be burned at either Maeve's Beacon or Caspian's Beacon.
Found guilty of magic.
Correct. Casting magic, especially in a holy temple of Ryan.
Will you kill her? Will you kill her now? Don't make her wait. She's guilty.
Eleanor, I know that we have all seen what she has done and the guilt, but we cannot take away a trial for anyone.
The guard
That is all the unjust that she has just spoken about. Don't make her speak the truth.
Spoke the truth. She has committed to enough crimes. Can't she attacked us? Can I? I don't.
No, go ahead.
Don't make her sit and wait. She answered every question. You're a member of the Ashen Guard here, hearing the admittance to this crime. Why must we extend this? Why must we make this a public affair?
Eleanor, we are not judges of these people. You have seen her crimes and I have seen her crimes, but we are just witnesses. That is all.
What do you think will happen at this trial? She will be under oath, has already said she attacked us, she used magic in a temple of Ryan. This is not a suspect, this is proven fact. Yeah. And then they will drag her and burn her as a witch because of our actions.
She was gonna burn for using magic regardless. There's a reason she's down here in Blacktomb. There's a reason she's kept away from all of the citizens above. There's a reason she's not at the Ashgate prison, because she uses magic. Regardless.
You and I both know that she is powerless now.
Doesn't matter. She committed a crime. And the judge will see to her punishment.
I'm gonna just turn to the guard. Is there any way the crime was committed against me that I can recess the charges? Let her hang. Let her die by the sword. She's clearly not.
Oh, so you're just trying to make it so she doesn't
burn.
Yeah,
Okay.
I asked them to kill her, like just to execute her
Got
now. Like she's clearly guilty of the crimes, but we covered up the fact that she's
A mage.
a mage and not a witch.
Even as a mage, they would still burn her. The guard says this to you. He says, Count Quillen, if you would like to motion during her trial to have her hung or decapitated or any other form of death, you may, and your word will be listened to by the Lords of Law. If you request that I kill her now, I shall do as such.
I don't wish to not go through the proper channels.
Eleanor, we have the judges, the Lords of Law, for a reason.
Of course, but
You cannot take a trial away from this woman. Regardless of what we witnessed, we are just witnesses.
I am trying to help her. She just answered every question we asked. She did not fight us. She...
Because she's in a room where she's utterly powerless.
And yet she could have stayed silent. Can you at least unbound her? If she's locked, if the holy priests are chanting, and there's protection against the magic, and no one was truly harmed at the temple. What can I give for her final days?
If you request her to be unbound, I will unbound her. If you petition to the Ashen Order, you can have her maybe exhumed from Blacktomb to Ashgate, or expedite the trial as a guard of Blacktomb. My hands are limited to the keys on my belt and the halberd in my hand.
Of course. If we could just... As long as she will be... As long as it poses no threat to your life, I would appreciate at least her hands unbound.
It shall be done. And they enter the cell, unbind her from the restraints on her hands and on her legs, and then reseal the cell.
Thank you.
Of course, Count Quillen.
And then I'm gonna look at her one final time. I'm sorry. I wish you chose a different path.
And she doesn't respond to that.
And I leave.
You exit the holding cells. The echoes and the chants of Blacktomb fade as you leave the prison beneath the castle and come back to beautifully tailored carpets, the ornate walls, the well-lit foyer of Blacktomb. And as you find yourself back in the main courtyard, we will end tonight's session. We will end tonight's session of City of Shadows with a dark prophecy from Hera And
That was heavy.
only more uncertainty to come in the final days before the first of Asha. If you liked what you saw today and need to know more about the Cult of Cinderfall, make sure you're liking and subscribing to these videos to know when the new ones come out and to see how our highborns handle the coming of Cinderfall. But until we meet again over another round at the Four Rings Inn.